Bertrand, to me, is a little bit of a mystery. Well, let's find out who is Bertrand Chamayou. Tell us a little bit, where are you coming from, about your family, about your background, and how did this love affair begin?
I was born in Toulouse, in the south of France, and there were not any single musician in my family. My father was a doctor, and my mother was much into art. She was an amateur painter, but especially contemporary art. My father loved the piano, especially, and music, so they brought me to the concert when I was very young. And I remember the first piano recital I've listened to was Nikita Magalov playing some Chopin preludes. I started the piano completely by chance because some friend in the school when I was 7 started to play the piano and I wanted to do like him. I was not very convinced at the beginning, but I felt immediately at home with the music. I was very much interested by the music, but I was a bit lazy. I wanted to learn pieces which were too difficult for me, like Beethoven sonatas. I was playing some music by Ravel and Kamsky. I was unable to play that, but I asked my parents to buy the scores and I wanted to see that. I was improvising and composing music a lot. My DNA is between piano and contemporary art. I was very much into the contemporary music when I was 9, into the modern composers, and I wanted to be like them. Actually, my dream was to be a composer. For some reasons, the piano playing grew despite my efforts. I mean, it became obvious that I have a kind of gift and talent for that. I'm playing Alban Berg sonata at the age of 11, and I was quite impressed by because I didn't remember I had such abilities.
Such a difficult language.
I was totally at ease in that. So, and I met a piano teacher from the Conservatoire in Paris, who became my teacher later, Jean-François Esser. And at the age of 13, he heard me and just said, "This boy is extremely talented and I want to bring him to the Paris Conservatoire." And that's why I left my home quite early at the age of 16. And I have the feeling that I just followed the signs. When I was even at the Conservatoire in Paris, I started to realize that I will probably make a musical career, but I was not obsessed about being a soloist. So I did a lot of chamber music, playing contemporary music, playing even period instruments, also classes for harmony, counterpoint, everything to learn composition. And it was my goal to embrace this music. stopped to compose, which was a little bit frustrating to me because
Why? Why did you stop?
I think the piano took enormous space at a certain point at the age of 16 or 17. I didn't have enough time and I was thinking probably to start again to compose, but I realized at the age of 30 actually that after my career as a pianist I has grown up that I missed something.
And have you ever fallen out of love with the profession that you eventually chose?
It happened to me. 12 years ago I had a problem, a disease in my right hand, and it was a very strong experience because I was unable to play during 1 year. I went through that and I felt even stronger then. For me, I'm now thinking about playing probably all my life, but if something happened that I'm unable to play or to keep maybe the highest level I want or the high standard I want to keep, maybe I could do something else. I don't know. I'm living so deep moments now with the music that I will keep it for all my life anyway.
It's a rather challenging choice that you have made to also support 20th and 21st century composers as well as the living composers. So how different is the approach to the completely contemporary piece from a piece like Jodot, for example?
It's more different for me to play, for example, classical music like Haydn and Mozart than music from the 19th, 20th and 21st.
More different or more difficult?
It's maybe even more difficult because you're a little bit naked. When you play a phrase by Mozart, even like when you have to enter on stage and to speak with that, I mean, it's like pure phrasing, the language, like painting. I mean, there's many colors, you know, when you play some Liszt music and you have so it means that you have some acrobatic things to learn. But once you have that, it's more like big waves and big blocks, and in a way I think it's more obvious. And music from the 20th century, even very modern music, it's much more Lisztian in a way. I don't feel a real cut even with atonal music, so I never felt that because for me it's very natural. We live a very interesting time for contemporary music because there are not like few schools, it's just exploded like a big bang. I mean, if you take 50 different composers, living composers, you will have 50 completely different tendencies. And some are very difficult to approach, but some are very easy to listen.
Give us some names, help us a little bit, get close
For
to
example, in France, people who are coming from Pierre Boulez, like Philippe Manoury, for example. But you have people as well which are a little bit more melodic, let's say like George Benjamin, Wolfgang Rihm, the German composer, which is kind of expressionist in a way. You have also all the American field about music by Steve Reich or Phil Glass, which is much more harmonic.
You're into Cage a lot as well, right? You play
I've
Cage.
played John Cage, which is ancient master already now. Cage, for example, prepared piano music. You put stuff into the piano and it sounds like drums. People is really enjoying that. Music is anyway abstract in a way, I mean sometimes related to some stories. It's like when you have an abstract painting, I feel that it is not so different from figurative in a way, because of course now we have cameras, we can take pictures. If you want something perfectly objective, we don't need painters. So even when it's figurative, what is interesting is not the fact that the painter is drawing very well a face or something, it's the treatment of the color, of the feeling. And the abstract way in the painting is a little bit the same. Of course, it doesn't represent properly something, but the way of treating the color as a movement and the texture is about feelings. And in the music is the same thing. Sometimes you don't have really that, you have some shapes, some texture, sounding textures. Sometimes we are feared about accepting that we don't understand something, but that could be beautiful. We have to let it go a little bit and to let the imagination go through you, that you don't need an explanation to feel something. And that the feeling could be even higher in a way. Mystery is a part of a work of art. You should accept to be a little bit lost and to just let the feelings enter into your body or your ears or your eyes. When something is interesting to you, just capture it.
When you are in the zone, what's happening with you? Can you try to explain?
When I play, I feel I've only the dimension of hearing. I see things like my keyboard or sometimes inside the piano, but I don't properly see water or nature. I'm just trying to meditate in a way on the sound, not to let other ideas coming in my brain, because sometimes it's really weird, but I have to go to the market tomorrow to buy some, I don't know.
Or check my mail.
Yeah, check my email.
Simple as
things
that.
like that. And so it's like a meditation that you have to focus on the sound really and the music and not absolutely reject that kind of things that are in a way a little bit aggressive all the time. I feel the sound is like a kind of circle and I try to enter in the middle point of this circle is to be surrounded by the sound.
You have worked with two completely different artists, Bashkirov, and you have also worked with Pariah. And I couldn't imagine two more diverse personalities. And you have mentioned that Pariah in particular has been a bit of an influence on you.
Bashkirov, I saw him only two or three times, so it was a kind of shock because I was like 18 years old and he pushed me like that on every chord. And it was a strong experience because it moved me a lot. Then I did that more with Maria in London, Maria Kocho. She pushed me in that way a lot to really express things, what you have in mind. The people, they can feel what you are actually feeling at the moment and trying to say. I don't have a real explanation, but we feel what is going on in the audience, if we capture something or not. And
there is a relationship.
There is a relationship. Yeah. It sounds a little bit egocentric, but in a way I felt that the fact to be in this bubble with the music corresponded a little bit to my character, but also it was for me the best way to share my music with the people. Be really focused, and I feel like in a bubble, and I forget that I'm surrounded by people in a way that invites people to really come into that.
Tell us a little bit about the competition and why we don't have to trust Bartok anymore, you know, who said that musicians are not horses, we shouldn't compete.
It's very funny that I became artistic director of the competition because I'm not at all pro competitions, because of course it's totally natural. I mean, we cannot put ranks on the artists. It's like first prize, second prize, it doesn't mean really anything. It's a cliche from the moment. When I was young, I did some competitions. I realized that it helped me a lot, especially this Lantibo competition.
Lantibo-Crespin?
Lantibo-Crespin. It was at the time it was Lantibo. Now it's Lantibo-Crespin. I realized it really helped me because we are completely in the forest. We are lost. We don't know how to approach those promoters. It's a way to start. I mean, to help. At certain point, we meet some people and they feel attracted by your talent. You have a chance to meet an audience that are suddenly adopting you. It's a kind of mystery anyway. So, but the competition is something that accelerates a little bit this process, and you can have access at least to all those things, which is truly impossible even when you're in the academy or the school. I was a member of the jury at a certain time, and they proposed me to be artistic director of the piano edition. So what we are trying to achieve is to connect really this competition to the real international market with promoters from the big orchestra, trying to interest as much possible managers, and we have a jury absolutely fantastic with very big names that really will help all those people to help the development of a young career, the great pianist of tomorrow. So we are working hard on that, and
thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.